All right, in other news, as African economies grapple with a number of crises, there are growing calls for reforms of global financial architecture to support the continent. That's been at least one of the dominant issues at the 2024 African Economic Conference, which is now wrapping up in Gaborone. That's in Botswana. It's also where we find our reporter, Kailihle Khumalo, who joins us now live. The theme this year, Kailihle, speaking about securing Africa's economic future amid uncertainty. I imagine that sentiment has also dominated the discussions there.
Well, absolutely, and especially because, as you know, that Africa and other parts of the world really grappling with a myriad of challenges, whether you're looking at the economic volatility, the climate change, the crises pertaining to the conflict, the instability. So those are very, very key issues that are being highlighted here, especially since today it's the last day where the delegates really must make sure that they come up with the deliverables in terms of the attainment of all these all-important goals. But as you know, that the African continent, it's with a young population, really, it's really just topping in terms of the global standing in this regard. But joining us now really to explore in terms of the issues affecting young people, but also just in terms of inspiring them, we do have Cole Davids, the founder of Pillar 5 Group. So, sir, thank you so much indeed for your time and welcome to SABC News. Maybe first and foremost, let's look at your contribution here. I mean, obviously there's a lot of issues facing young people, whether you're looking at issues around skills development, you're looking at unemployment, among other challenges.
Yeah, I think it's been an amazing 3 days, and when we came here, the expectations was obviously let's look at how we can dialogue. I believe days like this is where we can come together from all parts, all different backgrounds, and say how do we come together and have one conversation. Some of the challenges, though, I think young people are just grappling with right now is what do I do with the skill, gift, or idea that I have, whether it's entrepreneurially or whether it's I've just graduated. I think that has been one of the main things I've been wanting to take away from these 3 days is what do I take back to my country, what do I take back to my sector to say, young people, this is what is available, whether it's from an AFCFTA perspective or just from a skills development perspective. Interesting findings. There's been a lot of talks, and I'm hoping on day 3 we could conclude with some implementation.
And also really just in the interest of finding solutions. I mean, for example, I think it's quite important to make sure that there is a very inclusive approach as opposed to talking about young people, but them not really being part and parcel of these discussions. It's really just been fascinating seeing the young researchers providing the solutions, whether it's about the economic challenges, issues around peace and security. So how's it been in terms of really just gauging and really listening to these contributions?
Well, I've been to the previous conference, I think about a year ago in Mauritius, and I basically did my own evaluation to say, from then till now, who has the room changed? Because if we are going to impact socio-economic or economic climates, we have to have different conversations with the right people in the room. I'm very impressed to see so many different young researchers in the room now. Now it's about saying, how do I get that young person that's outside of the socio-economic mainstream into this conversation? It's now saying, do we roll out something on what level, on what platform, and through who that really pulls that young person in? I think we're off to a good start. But I think we need to go beyond dialogue to action now. I think there needs to be this task list that needs to be set up and say, how do we evaluate ourselves after this? The right people's in the room, we are discussing the right things, but we have been here before. We have been here before, so we don't want to, we want to make sure about 2-3 years from now, we say, from where we've been to where we are and where we want to go, there's been an amazing progressive progress. Because a lot of time we're active, but we're not effective, and thus we're not progressive. And so we want to make sure we tick those boxes.
Maybe just before I let you go, sir, tell us about the work that you do, because, a lot of youngsters are disillusioned. They always say the system is not working for them. They always say, we are really at the wit's end. We really don't know what to do. Tell us about what you do to make a difference for the youngsters.
Well, the Pillar 5 group really focuses on a commercial hub where we bring young graduates from different backgrounds. Now we're talking about social media specialists, app development specialists. These are all third years that would have been unemployed. We are based at the university, at CPUT, at the Business of Innovation and Incubation Center. And so we bring these third years into a room, take their skills and take it to the informal sector. The informal sector right now is contributing a significant amount to GDP. However, because they are seen as unemployed, not self-employed, the government don't always recognize them. So Pillar 5 basically focuses on how do I take these skills and help your mechanic, your barbershop, the one washing the cars, the one cleaning the shoes. How do we bring them into a room via artificial intelligence? And so it's a crazy approach, but amazing impact. I mean, this year only, we did a few projects that really impact so many people.
All right. So thank you so much indeed for your time. Of course, that's Mr. Davids, of course, really talking about what they do, because as you know that for that enormous difference to happen on the ground, it's all about making sure that the needs of the young people are taken care of, but also a number of issues really just coming under the spotlights here, whether looking at issues pertaining to the global financial architecture, those all important reforms. You know that South Africa has always been vocal, whether you look at the recent G20, for example, President Cyril Ramaphosa spoke at length about that. So we'll certainly keep you posted with the developments here in Gaborone. So with that, back to you in Johannesburg.
All right, we're certainly looking forward to all of those updates. Kylie Chukumalo, as you heard there, reporting live from Gaborone in Botswana.